Everybody in the games industry wants to make something they're proud of, something they can show off to the world and say, hey, look at that. That's mine. I did that. I did that with my human appendages that I have attached to my body. Sometimes people don't want to show off, simply proud to be involved and happy to let their creation fly, with the only acknowledgement of their being involved lying in the credits. Whether it's hiding your name in code, sneaking a JPEG of your face out of bounds, or in the case of Assassin's Creed Origins, donning some leather jackets and pretending to be a band. I have no proof that's the case, by the way, but come on, just look at that photo. It's fair to say that some developers take it one step further, choosing to immortalize themselves in their own creations. Occasionally it's subtle, with steps needed to smoke out the Easter egg, but it's essentially the high-tech equivalent of carving Benoit's ear into your school desk, so we're going to look at some examples now. I'm Ben from TripleJump, and here are 10 times developers featured in their own game. Number 10. Pokemon Red and Blue. Ah yes, the games that kickstarted a pop culture revolution in the late 90s that's still going strong today. There's not much I could tell you about Pokemon Red and Blue that you didn't already know, so I won't explain what Pokemon is, but what I will tell you is that developers Game Freak reached the conclusion that they exist in real life, so why not in the Kanto region of the Poke world as well? Once arriving in Celadon City with its towering shopping center, female-only gym, and a gambling den that you, as a child, are allowed to gamble in, with Pokemon as some of the prizes even after you shut down the Team Rocket operation behind the shady business. Celadon City is a strange place. But making your way into Celadon Mansion, you can find the Game Freak office on one of the floors, and if you make it past the potential existential crisis-inducing dialogue of various staff saying that they designed you, the lead developer will ask you to come back once all Pokemon have been caught, where he will reward you with a diploma. Oh boy. Given the director of Red and Blue is Pokemon creator Satoshi Tajiri, it's likely that this is him. Number 9. Fahrenheit. Beginning with Fahrenheit, or Indigo Prophecy as it was also called, developers Quantic Dream have become known for their branching interactive adventure games, going on to release Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human. It all started here, however, with mad, egocentric Frenchman David Cage, whom I shall now exclusively refer to as Dwavid Quage, fancying himself as a very serious and accomplished film director and wanting that to be reflected in the stories he wove. It's only appropriate then that a very polygonal PS2 Dwavid is the one who introduces us to his masterpiece, explaining what all the weird HUD means, how to press the buttons on your controller at the right time, and that at some point you'll probably have awkward interactive relations with your ex even though you're dead maybe. He wasn't done there though. Throughout the game, the player can check news headlines and stories on the various playable characters' computers, with several mentions of a new film franchise releasing to critical and commercial acclaim. The director of these films? Dwavid Quage. I'm particularly pleased at the response to my film, says Dwavid. We're sure you are. Number 8. The Secret of Monkey Island. The first entry in the legendary point-and-click series swashbuckled its way onto personal computers all the way back in 1990. Starring pirate wannabe Guybrush Threepwood in his quest across the Caribbean in the age of piracy, players faced comical conundrums, fantastical foes, and were tasked with interacting with the environment and solving puzzles to proceed. But did you know that actual George Lucas is in this game? I know he's not a developer, or indeed part of the development team, but as it was developed by Lucasfilm Games and published by LucasArts, the devs decided to put in a loving reference to the big man upstairs by making him a troll. When you successfully manage to get past the troll and over the bridge he's guarding by offering him a red herring, yep, the troll can be seen removing his head to eat it, revealing the man under the mask is none other than Georgie Lucas. A loving tribute for sure. Number 7. Saints Row 4. Continuing to build on the strong foundations provided by Saints Row III, Saints Row 4 sees your custom protagonist about to be sworn in as president of these United States, but oh no! Aliens have invaded, and only you can stop them. It's far-fetched and ludicrous, which is classic Volition, but those scamps just had to hide the development team in a secret dev room, didn't they? Shooting at a nondescript door in the back of a Let's Pretend clothing shop, the door will swing open, allowing you to make your way downstairs. Lo and behold, there are the heads of the developers, grinning madly and sitting in a weird rainbow-adorned set that looks like it's been ripped right out of the Teletubbies. Shooting each of the heads causes it to explode in fireworks, because of course it does, but that's not all. A blow-up sex doll can be found having a private moment in the bathroom, and sitting atop a chair is a tiny pistol called Well, a tiny pistol. Given that Saints Row 4 is about an alien invasion, it's only appropriate that homage be paid to the noisy cricket weapon Will Smith begrudgingly uses in Men in Black, and the game even goes so far as to make it super powerful and send you flying backwards whenever you fire it. Here come the MIBs. Number 6. Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II. Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II is a JRPG about girls who fight monsters with magic while not wearing much, and I cannot go into any more detail than that because it just tips the scale as a bit too Japanese for me, and that hurts my head because I'm an idiot. What I can talk about, however, is how game industry veteran Keiji Inafune, known for his work on Street Fighter and Resident Evil among many others, inserted himself into this game in perhaps the most absurd way possible. In the game's third chapter, the player will be asked a number of questions by one of the characters, and you only get one shot at this, so make sure yes is the answer you select for all of them, because if you do, you'll be rewarded with something called Inafune brand skills. What is this? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a cutout of Keiji Inafune as a wieldable weapon. Standard stuff, that. Oh, not enough for you? Alright then, how about the summon where he descends from the heavens like a furious Japanese thundercloud and shoots lasers out of his mouth? Yeah, there you go. Number 5. Doom 2. Yeah, Doom! The granddaddy of the first-person shooter genre is still violent, loudmouthed, and dangerous even now, over 2 decades later, a vitally important puzzle piece in the tapestry of the games industry. And they know it. Hell, they knew it back in the 90s too. So when time for a sequel rolled around, one of the series creators was inserted into Doom 2 as a subtle Easter egg. When confronting the final boss, a sort of goat demon thing, which is delightful, you can hear a frightening garble of weird sounds emanating from the beast. If you were to play this backwards, however, it actually says, "To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero." Whether it's actually series co-creator Romero speaking these egocentric words or not, enabling a no-clip cheat allows you to pass through a wall next to the demon, revealing the severed head of John Romero on a spike. Every time you deal damage to the boss, or directly to the head for that matter, it will contort in anguish and let out a horrid noise. So, he really is the final boss, and isn't this all lovely? Number 4. MDK2. The rather unimpressively titled MDK2 was an effort from Mass Effect developers BioWare, released in the year 2000. Not much has changed, but this one's not a big RPG, it's about third-person shooting. It also has a ridiculous Easter egg whereby you can see pictures of some of the dev team. In level 7, if you turn your back on the chaos enveloping the boss level, you can spy an object that appears to be obscuring some of the stars in the sky, or in space, wherever it is that you are. If you'd like to reach this strange object, the only path is totally invisible, so have fun with that. Gingerly making your way over will reveal a strange floating castle, and inside is nothing, because you can't get inside for some reason. But around the back is a nice poster where one of the devs has their head on the body of South Park's Satan, which is worth your time. You should do it. Number 3. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Hideo Kojima may have left Konami now, having set fire to his former office, the bridge he crossed to leave, and the last 50-odd% of Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. But before all that, when excitement was palpable for the first Metal Gear Solid title of the PS4 and Xbox One era, he released teaser episode Ground Zeroes to whet our appetites. Longevity, price, and replayability controversy aside, in one of the operations available at Ground Zero's military base prison Camp Island, you have to rescue an undercover agent whose identity has been compromised. That agent? Old Hideo, isn't it? The glorious reveal is made once you get him aboard the extraction chopper, but the cheeky fella has the tenacity to turn to the player and remark, "What took you so long?" Coming from the man who pushed MGS5's release about 37 times to, I can only assume, program in a button to make your horse poo, that is rich. He's appeared in many of his own games over the years, as a matter of fact, and even reappeared in the full MGS5 release if certain criteria were met. But with Konami and Metal Gear firmly in the rearview mirror, we've likely seen the last of Hideo Kojima cameos in MGS titles. Number 2. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Released for the Wii in 2007, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption sees kicker of space ass and undercover woman Samus Aran return to action, kicking even more space ass and not hiding her gender anymore because it's 2007 and it's okay to be a female kicker of space ass. You go, girl! Installed in Samus's ship is an exciting new gadget called the Transmission Console. Entering codes, some of which are received in the main game, into the device plays recorded messages, including a few that you may not have been able to decipher. No, you ignorant loon, not because it's the babbling of an alien creature. It's Japanese, alright? Don't embarrass you, educate yourself, okay? Alright, so some of them actually are an alien creature, but if you were to translate the Japanese voice recordings into English, you'd see a message from Nintendo legend Satoru Iwata, and one from Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto, and some others from various Metroid developers. The first can be heard complaining that nobody takes him seriously, and Miyamoto is more preoccupied with how you're finding corruption, asking if you think the Metroid games are fun. And they are, thank you. No, they are. Number 1. God of War. He's mad, he's bad, and he's probably your dad. In 2018's God of War, that is. 2005 Kratos, however, was an unrelenting fury machine, high off the near-lethal levels of piss and vinegar one might expect from a man who was tricked into murdering his wife and children by the gods before having their ashes stain his body as punishment. He does strike me, and I mean that literally, as the kind of man that would take out his anger on just about anything, which is why it makes perfect sense for him to destroy the 2 surprisingly resilient pillars flanking the throne at the end of the game. 2 to 400 hits should do it. Simple, really. And your reward is a code. A code that can be decrypted to reveal a phone number. Calling the number, and this still works in the year of our Lord 2019, by the way, as I tried it, will reveal a pre-recorded message from the God of War himself that goes a little something like this.
And we shall always...
Dude, they did it. They found our Easter egg.
Yep. That's God of War director David Jaffe there, and here he is again, being murdered by Kratos, who found him annoying.
That's it!
Poetry. And there we have it, 10 devs who just couldn't resist immortalizing themselves. Let us know your favorites in the comments. You can follow myself and TripleJump on Twitter here, and while you're at it, why not support the things you enjoy by having a look at our Patreon. Finally, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Ben from TripleJump, and thanks for watching.